Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It's good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You do agree? Yes. Co-creating at its best. Optimum opportunity to take thought beyond that which it has been before. And of course, that's what rings our bells. But it also rings our bells when you deliberately put yourself in an environment with the singular intention of raising your personal vibration. And we cannot think of a better opportunity than these days that we will all have together. As you focus together, thinking about who you are, what you want, giving not too much attention to where you stand in your normal life experience. Out here sort of extracted from your day-to-day normal responses to life. Even though what is always surrounds you, it is our expectation that your practiced skill, ability to get out ahead of manifestation vibrationally is much more probable in the days before you than you've experienced before. And by that we mean, as you are living your normal life experience, standing in your normal environment, interacting with your normal people, in most cases, you just continue practicing a pattern of vibration that you've had established for a while. You know how you feel about this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. And since this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that is around you, you sort of practice a cycle of vibration, and then law of attraction responds to that vibration. And your grid, or what we are lovingly calling your point of attraction, doesn't yield to you too much variance from what it has been yielding. So your expectation stays pretty much the same. So things don't change. And then you get all animated about making changes, but instead of doing it vibrationally, which is the only way that has any leverage or power, you effort it, you try it, you work at it, and it doesn't work. And then you question things like your worthiness or your ability or Abraham's intelligence. We're pretty sick and tired of that. You never hurt our feelings, but we do hear you screaming at us. So, in a few days like this, where you really are in a place where, and we don't just mean the physical surroundings, we mean the physical environment, we mean the vibrational altitude, we mean the vibrational ambiance, we mean there's an opportunity for you to reach for new expectations. And not just to reach for them, but maybe to find them and hold them, maintain them, practice them, and come to own them. So that by the time these wonderful days that we will spend together have come to a closing, you will be in a practiced new vibrational place. It is our promise to you, our absolute expectation, that without exception, your vibrational grid, your point of attraction, will have shifted enough by the time you leave here that the entire world, including everyone you know, will respond to you differently. It will be obvious to you that you have done some good vibrational work. Meanwhile, it's not going to be work, it's going to be fun, because work never gets anything done. All work does is just move stuff from place to place. All work does is just help other people who are working harder not hate you so openly. All work does is help you justify an existence that does not need to be justified. All hard work does is just put you in a place of keeping yourself from, in this moment, experiencing the benefit of your natural worthiness, you see. So this is a week where we're wanting to call you away from work and toward worthiness, away from trying and toward allowing, away from struggle and toward ease, away from all of that. You've been listening to us for a while? Yes. You know you are the creator of your own reality? Yes. You know that you are a vibrational being? Yes. You know that you have a vibrational currency that you have not begun to spend? Yes. Do you know that you are wealthy in this vibrational currency? Do you understand that it doesn't matter how much of anything you've amassed? You have amassed a veritable fortune of vibrational currency, which you are planning to tap into in these days and planning to spend for the rest of your life? Do you know that when you understand that there is a vibrational currency and you tap into it and begin spending it, do you understand that the spending of it is the replenishing of it? The more you flow out, the more flows in. The more you flow out, the more flows in. The more you flow out. And so it is our expectation that your former shortage consciousness is about to come to a gradual end. Not an abrupt end. That could be painful. A gradual end. So you understand that you have a point of attraction, and that it exists because of the vibration that you are offering, and that the vibration that you are offering is about what you're focused upon and therefore how you're feeling. Well, you know everything we know. Is there a beach somewhere we could go to? Was it good for you? We're eager to talk with you about anything that matters to you. It is our absolute promise to you that what you've come wanting to know will be addressed fully here. It's also our promise to you that what we've come to experience will be experienced fully. Because, you know, you are not the only ones who come with intention. The intention that we hold is that you will reawaken to the wholeness that is you, and that you will invite that full version of you into every conversation that you have from this point forward in your life experience. It is our desire that you come not just to a remembering of who you are and why you've come into this experience, but to a discovery of those things that you had not even ever yet anticipated, because it is the eternal expansion that we are all about. You provide that for one another as you inhabit this planet. You provide opportunities for new desires to be born, and they are born all day, every day. And so this seminar is not about helping you to goose up desires. You've already goosed it up. We've seen your vortex. This seminar is about you finding somehow, some way to raise your normal frequency, not a spiking into alignment, but a holding steady of an alignment that is worthy of who you now are. And we have plenty of time together, and you have plenty of time together for that to come about. So, we're ready for you. What do you want to talk about? You're ready. It's going to be a really fun time. Begin right here. How much do you love your teeth?
So much, so much. Hello.
Scary, isn't it?
It is very scary. You're unpredictable.
You can adjust that if it's too close.
Okay. Thank you for calling me up. I just feel just enriched and loved by it all. And I just wanted to settle for a couple of seconds before I got into the question of
We know.
Well, I know you know. So,
Need more time?
no. In that sense, I do need more.
We're just telling you, camera person, this is going to be a nightmare.
Do you want to discuss things?
Your time is up.
Oh, yes. The issue I have at hand is the idea of subjective reality versus objective reality. Subjective being our internal joy that I think all of us in this room, and you and the camera person and everyone else helping out are feeling. That's the joyous part, that's the co-creative part, that's the love part, that's the happiness part. And then there's more objective reality of things that are a little bit more out there that maybe are a little bit more permanent.
Like
the entire Earth itself, let's say.
like things that more people agree on?
That more people agree on, that are more at a level of reality that are more rigid and firm. And
So where would facts stand?
facts would stand somewhere in between both the person, like all of us, the joyous beings, and our own internal sense of fact, and the facts that are collected by, I guess, all those other people, and I know what you're getting at here. Those other joyous people. It's a paradox. Yes. And
Because most people would say that things that are factual, things that are evident, things that everybody agrees upon are in that objective place. And yet everything is perceptual, so nothing really is...
You have to attach yourself to those facts, yes.
And how would one do that? How would one... Can you hear clearly? How would one...
And you pick through them, and even a scientist picks through them, right?
But what is the attachment process? How do you attach yourself to a fact?
By perceiving it, by looking at it, by feeling it.
by giving quite a bit of attention to it, by focusing on it enough that it is active chronically in your vibration, so that law of attraction reads your vibration, not because it's a fact, but because you've got a vibration about it, and then feeds you evidence to support your vibration, not to support the fact. So you are the creator of your facts by your attention to subjects.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good.
Yeah. I agree with you there. People like Ayn Rand were objectivists. They kind of discounted things that were more subjective and joyous and things like that. I just want to know what your...
For example?
They would discount...
because you are objectifying that person.
Yes, in a sense you are.
Did you read everything?
I
And
guess,
why,
at what level can we impart our joy to the world, a more objective world?
well,
Like,
here's
like
the,
if we want to, like somebody like Jacques Fresco, he's a designer of huge engineering complexes that socially engineer and ecologically engineer the world, right? Are we being arrogant to try to kind of engineer the world, the earth, to make it more, I guess, better for more humans, right?
well, we just want to say good luck with that. In other words, that you don't need to worry about anything, first of all. And
I'm not too worried. I'm just kind of going in this area of a little bit upstream again to explore it.
the most important thing that we want to say to you as a result of everything that we've been chewing on here is that, and it's the basis, it's the most important thing for us to convey and for you to receive before anything else about our answer to you is going to make any sense. And that is 100% of what anyone is experiencing is because their perception allows it. And it does not matter what other label you give it. Everyone has unique perspective. Now, we don't disagree that your perspectives tend to morph together as you talk to one another. But we really want you to hear us when we say, you are not in perfect vibrational alignment with any other's opinion or perception about anything. And if you would strive as an individual or as a mass consciousness to be more independent and care less about what they think or about how what they think affects the world, then you would have less split energy. You would be in alignment with your own creative power and with the energy that creates worlds, and you would experience the flowing of this energy toward the things that are important to you in such a way that the manifestations that would actualize around you would leave everyone wondering what you have discovered. And then as they seek to understand how it is that you flow with such ease and accuracy and precision, some of them may begin asking the questions that lead them to the same alignment. The paradox is this: you benefit one another in your exposure to each other, because in your exposure to each other, new ideas, new desires, new expectations, as well as new beliefs are born from that. So the very vibrational basis that we're saying equals you garner from your exposure to others. But there comes a time in everyone's life where you have to acknowledge that while all of them have an opinion, and most of them up close to you have an opinion about you, just as you have an opinion about most of them, and especially those who are in the spotlight, your perspective equals your point of attraction, period, 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 period. And if humans could just get hold of that knowledge, if they could just understand, this is my point of attraction, and it is what it is because I've practiced it into place, and law of attraction will prove back to me what it is, and if I like it, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and if I don't like it, I'm going to change it in this way, and this way, and this way. And then it is our promise to you that you will live happily ever after amongst others who are either doing that or aren't.
Right.
Everyone you know is the creator of their own reality. It's just that most of them are doing it by default. Most people are flowing thoughts and words all over the place, practicing vibrations that they don't want to be their point of attraction, feeling uncomfortable, and then putting all kinds of labels so that people can get together in rooms and discuss whether it's this or whether it's that, when that really has nothing to do with them. Your point of attraction is easy to discern, and easy to control, and easy to orchestrate, and easy to define, and easy to improve, and easy to validate the improvement, you see. And what anybody else is doing, who cares?
Yeah,
really.
I agree. Yeah. That's very true because you don't really want to control them or alter them anyway. I mean, it's their thing is their thing, and your thing is your thing, and it all blends together, and it's great.
You only want to control them when you are not using your vibrational currency to your own advantage, when you have developed some pattern of resistance so you're not letting it flow in. And as you're not letting it flow in, now it feels like you need to do something about it, you see. Really good, really good.
Well, I have more, but I'm kind of leaning towards, you know,
Yeah.
lots of people.
Yeah. How do you feel about your teeth?
I could use some new ones, that's okay. Somebody said to me, who do you think is going to be placing the microphone? And I said, I think it's going to be Jerry. And I was right.
That should scare everyone.
Actually, my question kind of ties into the last one, because well, first of all, so many things work for me so well. Sometimes I feel almost a little like when's
what?
the next shoe gonna, like the shoe gonna drop or something, but mostly I just appreciate it. Everything works out for me. I have this wonderful life in so many ways.
Well, you've got a little bug to work out of that, don't you?
Because of the worrying about the other shoe gonna drop?
There's not a complete acceptance
Yeah.
of your well-being.
Or of my being worthy of having it be so good. But I had this...
So when the other shoe drops, you know the analogy she's using? When the other shoe drops, really use your reasoning. No one understands us better than you do. Use your reasoning that's based in what you now know, and talk about when something happens that previously you or someone might have said, well, I was waiting for that shoe to drop. What really happened?
Yeah.
What really happened?
A lesson or a wake-up? Or
a lesson's more like the shoe dropping.
Okay.
What really happened? Law of attraction gave you evidence of a vibration that you want to change.
Yeah.
So did a shoe drop, or did you go to college?
Okay.
Did you gain insight? Did you gain meaning? Did something really serve you? Did you gain clarity? Did your world just gain more breadth? Did you just become more? Did you just have an expanding moment? Was it a step one moment? Was it the reason that you came? Is everything right on track? So say that every time you have that feeling, and choose for yourself a different vibrational patterning until you've done it enough that you own it, and you never again will think about the other shoe dropping. And if you ever think about it, it will just seem like the stupid thing that it is.
Yeah.
a misunderstanding.
I think I'm almost there,
We think so
actually.
too, but
Yeah.
you were talking about it, and so we felt
Well, it wasn't so-
necessary to climb your tree.
It wasn't so much that a shoe dropped, but I have this, all of a sudden this question came in, like a big one, and I feel like it encompassed all the main things that all the Abraham teachings have given me, like you can't create in another person's reality. Don't expect someone else to behave in a certain way in order for you to feel good. All of these things about, having to control the environment and especially other people. And my question is really about children, but I think it really can go for any kind of relationship. A few years ago, I asked you about my daughter, and it was like 7 or 8 years ago, and you said something that made a complete turnaround in my life. You said, do you think her guidance is broken? And in that second, it was like, oh, of course her guidance isn't broken. She's got guidance. I'm off the hook. I have my guidance. She has
However,
it changed my life.
However, as a parent, I expect her to put her guidance on hold and use my guidance.
Well, here's the question.
My guidance is more practiced and probably righter than her guidance. So she should just wait and use her guidance when I'm dead. Until then, she should use my guidance.
Can you tell her that? No, but I actually think with her I've done okay. But here's what happened. Last week I had a 10-year-old child of close friends, and I have a very close relationship with this child staying with me. And my kids are adults now, and I actually feel kind of cocky, like I did a really good job with them, and I listened to Abraham, and it's all cool. And he is my teacher, this little boy. Oh, he's my height now, but he's still young, so I can call him a little boy. But something happened that really gave me a wake-up call that all of these teachings, like don't expect someone to behave in a certain way so you can feel good, you can't create in their reality. And, another one that you taught me is you can only have one emotion at a time. So you can't, and this is how it ties into the previous person.
All right,
you
now,
can't be in love and another emotion at the same time.
And what you're about to say here, and we're going to only interrupt briefly, is going to be a strong premise of what's going to happen in the days that are before us, about the gentle and gradual moving of those vibrations up the emotional scale. But it is right. You are where you are.
Okay, so my question is, well, here's what happened. And I don't want to go back into that emotion because I can get there really easily, but he's 10, and I live in a place where just a few steps from my front door, there's a pond which was frozen. But it was April 1st, and we'd had a few warm days, and I didn't really know the condition of the ice. And he really wanted to walk on the pond. He really wanted to. And I felt... I totally recognized it. My emotion was fear. It was fear, and then I heard myself say to myself, okay, you cannot love him and be in fear in the same moment. So what are you going to do with this? And honestly, the fear overrode, and I spoke to him in a tone of voice I've never used with him, and I said, you cannot go on the ice. I said, you can go outside and play, but you are not allowed to walk on the ice. And that was totally coming from my fear. And he's the kind of kid, he was like, okay, fine, if I can, I won't. And he didn't, but he went outside and played, and I was looking at him through the window thinking, what is wrong with me? I don't want to be in fear. I want to be in love, and I want to know that his guidance will take care of him.
So stop for a little bit. So,
okay.
Everyone relates. It's a very good presentation and a very good question. So let's go back to what we were talking about earlier, about the vibrational leverage that you have, and about aligning with all that you are. So let's agree that it was not a good idea for him to be on the ice. Let's just take that as an objective fact.
Okay.
It's not a good idea to walk on thin ice.
Well, I don't know if it was thin. I don't know.
Everyone knows it.
Okay. Okay.
So, and you have this feeling of responsibility, and well, you should. You've been entrusted with this child. So there is this basis of desire intentions that you hold, that he have fun and that he thrive and that he be well, lots of things in your vortex relative to this person. So the question isn't whether your behavior, whether your conclusion about whether he is on the ice or not is accurate. Because let's just assume that everyone agrees that it's not smart to get on the ice. Not this time of the year, you're not sure how thick it isn't proven, you're not sure. So let's just agree that that was the right decision. But the question is, how do you feel in presenting that? And so what we were talking about earlier, so you hold, you're really going to like this, stay with us just for a little bit. So you hold an opinion about something, and your opinion matters because you've lived around there, you've lived around the ice, you've lived longer years, you have a sense of how things work, you have earned your stripes, so to speak, about what you feel is a safe, and that's not a negative word, a safe, effective, good-feeling way to live. You know what that is. And now there's someone in your experience who is evoking from you, by virtue of that desire, feelings that are unfamiliar, because if it's just you and your relationship to the pond and the ice, there's no contradiction. There's no, you've made the decision about it, you're in alignment about it. And the way you stay in alignment about it is by knowing what you know, whether it's right or not, knowing what you know, and then behaving accordingly. So you keep yourself in vibrational alignment with your own intentions and your own beliefs. So the question that this is stirring up here is, maybe you'd all be better off to just live out there by yourself. Hermits on lakes all over the planet, where you're never where someone else's desires and someone else's beliefs don't challenge you. Stay with us just a little bit, because that's really what we're talking about here. If other people will do what you believe is in their best interest, then you stay in alignment. But when they start doing other things and you care about them and you don't believe that their behavior is in their best interest, then the only thing that happens that is really worth talking about here is that you get out of alignment. So the question isn't, should this person get on the ice or not? The question is, how do you stay in alignment? How do you stay in alignment when you are around others? Now, when you stay in alignment, you are more influential than millions who are not. So your ability to convey, even without words, just with expectation and desire, well-being of others. In other words, if you have the ability to focus on someone who's nowhere near your lake, who's off with other kids playing in places where you're not even aware, don't you want to be one that holds someone as your object of attention with such complete acknowledgement of their well-being that they are influenced always to whatever is necessary in order for them to thrive?
Exactly, and that's what I felt like I wasn't doing, and
Well, so
that
you-
was what I meant by the shoe dropping.
Yeah.
It was like all of a sudden I wasn't able to line up. I didn't have, I just
So what
sort of-
so what comes from it? What do you discern from it? What new awareness do you hold? Is it about ice and ponds and children? Or is it about your personal alignment, your personal power of personal alignment, your power of influence?
I'm in a question. I want to know, like,
well, our
how
question
much
was
was my
leading. It was a leading
guidance?
question, so follow it.
Okay. So
So whenever you're interacting with anyone, in other words, because we've already acknowledged, for the most part, even though it's a hard habit to give up, that physical control, banging things into place, making demands, in other words, you were in a vortex position, and you described it as one of fear. And of course, the words that were inspired to you from that position were words that you never ever wanted to utter to this person. But the thing that's deeper in this, that we want to get out into the light where everyone can feel it in a very strong way, The other day, Esther was writing with Jerry. She writes with him nearly every day, most days. And usually it's about something that she believes he knows about, things that she knew he was aware of, and things that she now believes that he is aware of from a broader, clearer, purer, more positive perspective. So she's talking to him often about things that are happening around her. And he said to her so clearly, she's typing as she receives him. It's a very strong flow. He said to her, Esther, your opinion, and then he said, I would rather use the word perspective than opinion, but I mean pretty much the same thing with them. Your opinion, perspective about everything that relates to you, your pond, your ice, your care of this child. Everything that relates to you, your opinion trumps everything else. Trumps everything else. Your opinion trumps everything else because you've lived the longest, you've cared the most, you've gathered the most information, you've sifted through the data, you've put things in your vortex, you've created a vortex version. Your opinion matters the most. So much the most that other opinions even aren't in the ballpark. Your opinion is the only perspective that matters. So Esther just kind of settled into that. She could feel the power with which he was saying it. And then he said, and this is really what we want you to hear, when you now introduce someone else's opinion about the thing that you have an opinion about into the equation, all you're doing is introducing resistance into the equation. And when you introduce resistance into your steady vibration, you feel the resistance, and that's what negative emotion is.
Well, then we were both in resistance, because if what you just said is true, then for Jeremy, his opinion was all that mattered.
So what do you care?
So we're both.
So what do you care?
Well, so my question is, would his guidance have kept him safe? I mean, that's what I
That's
really
not
wanted
any
to
of your business.
This is not helpful, Abraham.
But stay with us just a little bit, because we don't want you to bail out of this before we get to the final place. So now let's go back to the ultimate thing that you're reaching for, which is tuned in, tapped in, turned on, connected to the energy that creates worlds, full immersion into well-being and flowing that well-being on someone else. And holding that vibration so powerfully that when you present what you know to be true, or what you believe to be true, or what you desire, doesn't matter if it's true or not, when you present your unfractured, your not diluted, your not controverted vibration to someone, it is our promise to you that what you know would be what he knew in that moment. And he would present to anyone who asked after the fact, I knew I shouldn't be on the ice. I just knew. I knew I shouldn't be on the ice. It was too soon to be on the ice. I wanted to, a part of me wanted to, but I knew. In other words, by you maintaining your alignment, you have, and only when you maintain your alignment do you have any hope or prayer or chance of inspiring someone else to theirs. But what most parents do, instead of taking the time as you are, bless your heart, to find this powerful alignment, instead you just know what you know, and you just strong arm your way, and you just say, no, these are the rules, no, you don't do that, you don't do that, you don't do that. You're not in alignment, so you're not conveying any alignment. They don't receive any benefit of alignment, so they're not in alignment, and then they defiantly go show you, and that's when they fall through the ice.
And I realize that. So it's
well,
not...
now let's just stand here for a moment and feel the power of that understanding. You are the creator of your own experience, but Jeremy was in your experience, and his well-being was part of your experience. And you were letting his opinion, and it doesn't matter. You were letting his opinion upset your apple cart.
Because
and how did you know that you weren't in your power? You were angry.
I was in fear. I wasn't angry. I was afraid.
Worse.
Yeah, I know. And so because I was looking at it as like not a conflict, but it was my guidance.
But now
and
how?
his guidance. But
never
it's
mind.
Not a matter
Never
of
mind.
guidance.
We went past that. Don't repeat it.
Okay.
Now where are you?
Well, I'm not sure, because really, I think that if I went into the fear again, because I was there.
So
I knew,
are you saying that this one conversation isn't enough for you to come into a situation like that and not repeat it? So
I don't know. But I mean, I know intellectually, but I'm not sure.
Well, let's just talk about it. You do know that you're not there yet, but you do know that you felt some movement just now, and you all did, didn't you? And you know that you want to hold someone as your object of attention, and that you want your well-being about them to count for something in their experience. So what you want to say to everyone is, I really don't want your behavior to shake me from my faith in your well-being. But what you really want to say beyond that is, I don't need your behavior to be a certain way. I am unshakable in my faith of your well-being, because I practice it when you're not on the ice. I practice it when you're nowhere in my sight. I practice it not just about you, beloved. I practice it about you and you and you. I practice it about people in other nations. I practice it about people of other political parties. I practice it all the time because I want to be in alignment, and I want to flood, as our friend said, love everywhere I look. Love, not fear, love. Not
so
fear,
how do you
love.
get into alignment in that moment? I mean, I went to fear like in an instant.
Can't do it in that moment.
I
because
get that it's my thoughts, my
stop.
thinking.
There's momentum. There's momentum. There's momentum. You're not going to do it. We are wanting to shift momentum here, and we don't expect to shift it for you or anyone else all at once. Momentum doesn't stop and start instantly. It's something that you practice into being. And that's a big thing. In other words, when there are big stakes, Esther was watching one of her grandchildren one day, and she said, I need to know the rules with this one because I haven't spent time alone with this one. I don't really know what his behavior might be, and I don't know what limits you want to place. And his brilliant mother says, if it's not life-threatening, let him do it. Mm-hmm. And Esther thought, cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but that was life-threatening.
Yeah, I thought it was.
There were high stakes there, you see. And so when you've heard us say, you, as much as anyone else has heard us say, you've dropped out of an airplane, you have no parachute, you say, what should I do now? And we say, just let the natural forces have their way with you. Hang on, it's going to be over soon. Because it's too late. That momentum is already in motion, and any action that you apply right now is not going to get you the results that you want. So you want to practice it ahead of time. And an opportunity like this gives you the opportunity to do that. In other words, so what are the things that we concluded? Let's just go back to that general place and walk through them again, just to sort of shore up the basis of your understanding. You know that when you are in alignment, that your power of influence is greater. Is that true? Yes. And when someone is your object of attention, or when someone is in your experience, are they part of your creation? In other words, where does co-creation and your creation, isn't everyone and everything that you're thinking about part of your creative process? So you do have the right to hold someone as your object of attention. You have the ability to focus upon them in ways that benefit them or in ways that don't. And so let's just say as a starter that when you're feeling fear or anger or anything that you would deem as negative emotion, and you're holding someone else as your object of attention, you're not helping them.
Right, I realize that.
So now this is really a wonderful experience, because you were faced with a true dilemma. You're a teacher to the very core of your being. Want, like no one else, to align and flow that well-being to others. And yet you felt that you were faced with the idea of something bad happening to someone you loved. And it takes discipline, friends, to train yourself into expecting only good things to happen. Because objectively speaking, people get run over every day. people drowned in ponds. In other words, you've collected a lot of information about what could happen. The question is, can you hold that kind of information chronically, actively in your vibration and maintain your alignment and therefore your power of influence to uplift humanity? This was a really big conversation, you see. So, meanwhile, we don't think that there's a thing in the world wrong with telling the kid to get off the ice. We don't think there's anything wrong with that. In other words, you could have had it all. You could have been in such alignment with well-being that your expectation would have kept him off the ice altogether, or if he had not picked up on, let's say he's out of whack for some reason, so he's not moving in the same vibrational circles that you are, and so he's not in tune with his guidance, and so he's wandering out on the ice, but you're so in tune, you don't freak out about it because you know that he's still on the edge of it, and you know that it's stable enough, and you know that everything will be all right. So far.
His guidance is, because I kind of think this is true, that his guidance was probably fine. Mine was the one that was out of whack. I was the one that was in fear. He was perfectly in joy. And so could I have just known that his guidance would keep him safe?
Maybe. But more importantly, we're not talking about him and his guidance. We're talking about you and yours. Because, and if you care about him and his, the only chance you have of inspiring it is by tending to you and yours. You're not going to inspire one person to their guidance by being out of whack. You will never inspire your children to alignment when you are in fear. Ever, 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 ever. But again, we're not saying for a minute that we know that you live in a world where there is action and behavior. And we know that there is action that will, in other words, if he had fallen through the ice, Abraham's not going to say, use the power of your mind, Jeremy. Raise the body temperature. Spring will come soon.
Some people think Abraham would say that.
We know that you're going to reach down, you're going to do everything in your power to get him out. And in the same way, it's not wrong to keep him from falling in to begin with. It's just how you feel when you're doing it that this conversation is about, you see.
Exactly.
Sometimes you could be in real alignment and they could not be in alignment, and so they're moving toward the ice. And then you got to do something physical to keep them from getting on the ice. But you've just fallen out of an airplane and you offered what behavior you could in order to bring the outcome you want, but you don't want to make that your lifestyle.
Right.
You want your lifestyle to work more and more toward aligned encouragement, not misaligned encouragement. And as you do that, you'll be applying less and less action, because the fairies of the universe, the cooperative components, everything that, all of these things that you have been learning about and that you have been teaching to yourself bit by bit come into alignment again and again, till you find yourself surrounded more and more by that which is in alignment with who you are. And you want to stay sharp. You want to stay sharp. In other words, you want to stay sharp, don't you?
So if something like this happens that
the shoe didn't drop. You just realized that you're not there all the time, and you could be, and you're not doing as good as you could, and you're not teaching from inside the vortex all of the time, and you want to, and you're not using your power of influence like you mean to, and you're not using the leverage that creates worlds, and that's why you're tired and discouraged sometimes. Too much action, too much conversation, not enough alignment. Mm-hmm. True for everyone.
Yeah,
really good.
Absolutely. Thank you.